if you tried to describe the opening night of the NFL season and you just started talking and said, I'm going to describe the opening night to you, someone would say, you're on crack. But you would say, well, let me tell you anyway. So here's the way it worked. The defending Super Bowl champions got their rings in a pregame celebration. Then the game kicked off, and the defending champions got a player hurt for the entire season on the opening kickoff. Oh, and there were fights on the opening kickoff, and then their defending champions' best defensive player and one of the 3 or 4 best defensive players in the entire NFL got ejected from the game before the ball was ever snapped. He was ejected, I should add, for spitting on people, spitting on the other team's nice guy quarterback. So then the game goes back and forth for a while, scoring easily for both sides. Oh, there's a bunch of fights, too, and people getting penalized for weird flexing motions. There was that. Then there was an hour-long lightning delay. So the other team, not the defending champions, but the other team, because the defending champions have the best running back in the NFL, the other team held them to 60 yards. But one of the most sure-handed wide receivers in football dropped a few passes in the closing minutes, so the defending champions won there. And some would say, that's a cool story. Here's where we're going to start the show. Okay? I think my topic would have had gas had this game gone the other way, but I still think it's worthy of debate, and I'm going to go to the most unpopular place possible. To eject or not eject? I'm not kidding. That's where we start. That's where we start the NFL season. To eject or not eject. You got to give it up. I do, at least. See, chaos and jackassery is good for my business. And I got to give it up to the NFL for opening the season with the most glorious, chaotic, and bizarre season opener anyone could ever come up with. There is no way you could describe this. I can't believe, with a good bottle of Cabernet sitting next to me and a glass in hand, I can't believe my first tweet of the NFL season was about the best defensive player on the defending Super Bowl champions getting kicked out of the game and escorted out of the stadium before the first snap of the season for spitting. Spitting on people. Look where we're starting the year. I feel like it's either going to be great or it's going to go downhill from here. Nobody can top this kind of chaos. I would give anything to hear the coaches' headsets, right? The ball's kicked off, which I have to explain the new kickoff thing, which is terribly dangerous, by the way. Like, lost in this is a new rule that already has guys getting hurt. But I would give anything to hear the audio of the coaches' headsets, which I can tell you is absolute chaos and F-bombs here and there. Okay? I would give anything to hear this because I think you might hear the head coach of the Eagles, who's a piece of work by himself, Nick Sirianni. He might be saying, hey, coach, why is our best defensive player leaving right now? Coach, do you notice that our best defensive player is walking out of the stadium with security? Could you please tell me what the hell is happening right now? Then you call over to the official. Bob, could you please talk to me right now because my best player's leaving and I need to know why. All right. But this is where we're starting. And so I'm going to go here because I think this is worthy. The debate we're about to have, and I'm going to go ahead and set it up as a debate, and I have no problem doing that. The debate we're going to have after the opening game of the NFL season, and here it goes. Should a player be ejected from the season opener for spitting on another player? I know, childish, Jeff. I hear you. I said it, and I'm going to take an unpopular opinion. I think the fact that it's the season opener should matter. And yes, I think the fact that it's a star player should matter. And yes, I think the fact that the ball has not even been snapped should also matter. I'm not suggesting that officials blow off what happened at the beginning, very, very beginning, 8 seconds into the game. I'm not saying do nothing. But the game is 8 seconds old on opening night. Would a 15-yard penalty to start the game for the Philadelphia Eagles against Jalen Carter not been enough? I think it would have. There's a reason why they did it, by the way. And I can tell you right now, the entire discussion would be different. Stuff would be on fire, and I'm not kidding. There would be cars turned over. There would be riots in the street had Philadelphia lost. And they should have, which is a whole nother subject by itself. Are you kidding me? Dallas lost like that? But I'm going to stick with this because I don't think he should have been ejected. I don't. I think it's kind of crazy. So my awkward position on a bizarre scene is this. I don't think Jalen Carter, whether he's the best defensive player on their team or not, I think I would argue, even if it was somebody else you didn't know his name, but I'm going to argue partly because it's the best defensive player on the defending Super Bowl champions, he should not have been ejected before a single snap for spitting. I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying it's not crazy. What I'm saying is that is awful. Agree or disagree? Are you going to go, but wait, what, Jeff? I don't think I'm confusing. No, you do not kick him out of the stadium. No. Outside of a gunshot, he's playing. Okay, well, like I said, I'm not sure I could do it justice how weird it was. First up, the game is in the kickoffs. Okay, you want to watch a lot of people get hurt this year? I know you don't care. They're going to. Remember the NFL used to say we're very concerned about concussions. We're very concerned about injuries. I've told you many, many times. I know it. I know this. When that ball is returned on a kickoff, more times than not saying sometimes, more times than not, people are going to get injured. It happened the first kickoff of the season. And there's a reason. I believe there's also evidence and a reason why some of the calls were made last night, including ejecting a player 8 seconds into the game on opening night of the season. Okay, first up is the NBC call and confusion when Jalen Carter is turning around and walking out of the stadium.
The touchbacks now come out to the 35-yard line.
Conduct. Defense number 98. Number 98's defense actions has disqualified him from the game.
Whoa.
15-yard penalty.
Whoa.
Automatic. First down.
So Jalen Carter, the focus and the star for the Cowboys, for the Eagles on the front line, out for the game before a snap. Here he goes. He walks there in front of Dak Prescott. Did he spit? Did he spit on him? I think he did. There you go. There you go. And the official was right there to throw the flag. Brian Neal, the umpire, who was keeping an eye on that confrontation. No idea, obviously, what was said. But Jalen Carter out of this game before a snap. Chris, that's, first of all, I got no idea what he's thinking. And second, this is massive in terms of the game.
I got to tell you, he's the best player they have on their defense. And about 80% of what we were going to talk about on this broadcast, because to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, you have to double team Jalen Carter. If you don't get your offense started. Now you take off that one player on the defense that you had to focus your attention on. And it's almost like Micah Parsons now gone from the Cowboys. Same impact now with Jalen Carter gone.
All right. Yeah. Yep. I don't think the people in Philly understood, like most people, it took a while to figure it out. It took a lot of social media messages to say, I'm sorry, what happened? Huh? Because at that game, because the people in Philly would set some stuff on fire. That's what they would do. Dak Prescott, the nicest guy around who was on the receiving end of the spitting, was asked about it, of course.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. What happened with you and Mr. Carter and spitting?
Yeah, I probably spit 1,000 times throughout the game. I mean, especially game day, maybe even in general, and something I guess I'm not proud of. But in that case, he was trolling, I guess you could say, trying to mess with Tyler Booker. I was just looking at him. I was right here by the two linemen, and guess I needed to spit, and I wasn't going to spit on my lineman, and I just spit ahead. But I would say he was back there where Jory was in that sense, and he asked, or he goes, "You trying to spit on me?" And at that point, I mean, I felt like he was insulting me. Like I wouldn't spit on somebody. I'm damn sure not trying to spit on you. Like we're about to play a game. I'm wondering why you're trying to mess with the rookie. And so when I stepped through, I actually say the words like, "What the hell would I? Excuse me, but I'm probably even more colorful. What would I need to spit on you for?" And he just spit on me in that moment, and it was more of a surprise than anything. Refs obviously saw it through the flag. I was like, hell yeah, we get 15 yards to start the game off. Didn't realize he was getting ejected. Unfortunate that he did. Hell of a player. Changed our plan and our blocking scheme, as I've told you all right before the week, that we're going to protect against him. So helped in that manner, but I don't wish for anybody to get out of the game. I'm sure he probably regrets that to some extent. I'm pretty sure he knows I didn't try to spit on him or wasn't even aiming to spit on him. So something that's probably going to get a lot of coverage and a lot of attention that I feel sorry for him in the sense of, yeah, I mean, I know how excited each and every one of us are, right, to kick off the season and the season opener, and hell of a player like that doesn't even get a chance in the first play. Yeah, all
right, so, I mean, I can go again. There's stuff about the game that was interesting. There's stuff about Dak Prescott that was interesting. I mean, there's that part, but let's just stick with, I want to take an unpopular position here. I'm not saying doing that is not a knuckleheaded move. You know, like guys are fighting around you. It's the opening kickoff and there's a dude being carted off, which is all on the NFL. Being carted off the first play of the season, it is a knuckleheaded move. And of all people to spit on, it's the nicest guy in the sport, Dak Prescott. It's dumb. It's just weird. It's worthy of starting the game with a penalty, as he just said. But ejected? That's the way you want to start the year, and it is what they wanted to do. I'm not saying tinfoil hat Jeff. I'm saying there's been a mandate to crack down on what the NFL says is unsportsmanlike conduct. So I think there's a method to the madness of doing this. I don't think you kick a player out before the game starts, outside of shooting someone in the thigh. Go ahead, your arguments. Go ahead. Go. All right? Have at it. I'm owning that this is going to be unpopular. I'll back it up. Unsportsmanlike conduct penalties are subjective. They have to be, and I'm fine with that. I mean, that is a part of the game. I've grown up around it all my life, around officials, so I know how it works. You have to have some level of subjective calls. Fine. So be subjective. If the Cowboys had won that game, and my God, Dak Prescott did everything he could to win that game, they should have won that game. This discussion by itself would be off the charts. Okay? That ejection makes a huge difference. We'd be debating it even more. What I'm saying is you can't kick the guy out of the game before the game is started for that. It's not like he pulled out a handgun. I don't know, maybe he would have later, but for right now, he didn't point a gun at Dak Prescott. It's crazy, it's dumb, but worthy of getting kicked out? Absolutely not. I'd be furious at him and at the league if I were the GM of the Eagles and we had lost. Okay, the context. Here's the context. And I think this was mentioned later in the broadcast, and I'm not a fan of this, but I think you need to prep yourself for more of it. I'd be very curious what the internal memos are like in the NFL right now. Jalen Carter, okay? Oh, Jeff, he's a dumbass. Why are you defending him? I'm arguing that you don't throw somebody out. I'm not arguing that he's not a dumbass. I'm arguing you don't kick somebody out at that moment, at that time on opening night. You just don't for that. He's the guinea pig of something bigger. And you saw some of this later in the game. A Philly player was flagged 15 yards for flexing after a hit. And I mean barely flexing. So get used to it, because I think it was mentioned during the broadcast at some point that the NFL is vowing to crack down on sportsmanship. Again, subjective. Totally subjective. I think last night was over the top. I think it was intentional. No, I don't think they showed up. I'm not going to do that thing. The officials don't show up and go, can't wait to get that guy. That's not true. They did show up with a mandate to crack down on stuff, taunting, flexing, all that stuff. And sure enough, to start the game on top of a fight and a dude getting carted off because of the dangerous new policy of the NFL. I think they overreacted. I think they completely overreacted. I would say if it was a Dallas player, I would say if it's a Philly player, I'd say if it's anybody. Don't throw somebody out 8 seconds into the season unless they've hurt someone. Unless they've chopped some dude. Unless they hit some guy in the side of the face. So the NFL wanted to send a message and did so, in my opinion, in the most ridiculous way. Had Dallas beaten the Eagles last night, and they came close, and it was a game effort. But had Dallas beaten the Eagles without their best player, the ejection of Jalen Carter would be a huge story. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's over the top. I don't think he should have been ejected. You start the game minus 15, okay. How about this part? And I do think this matters. We're all paying far too much for streaming services to watch the best games possible. We're paying far too much and investing a lot in streaming services to watch the best players possible. I'm not paying, and neither are you, to watch Jalen Carter's backup because he spit before the game starts. In the moment, he should not have been thrown out. There. Put any other name on it, I don't care. I think that is a dangerous precedent to set. And I'm not at all justifying taunting. I'm not justifying the spitting. I'm not justifying any of that stuff. But there is the punishment is not proportional, in my opinion, at all. In fact, it's crazy. It's crazy. For that. I mean, somebody walked over and said, Dak Prescott, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. The guy was just being a jackass. Okay, let's play. There you go. I know most of you will disagree with me. I'm fine with that. I think the game had been differently, and it should have been, for reasons that are even more bizarre. The most sure-handed guy there is in the sport somehow, some way is dropping footballs. But there you go. No, you don't eject any player in that situation for that act 8 seconds into a game when a snap has not even been taken. Hey, here's a recommendation backed up by my own experience, a great experience. And that is, I've been a client of DJC Law, and I can tell you this. You're going to get 3 things with DJC Law. You'll notice it right away. The difference is you will get peace of mind. They will take care of every single detail perfectly, and you will get the result you deserve. If you're injured by the negligence of someone else, fighting with an insurance company for any reason, trust me when I tell you, you will need DJC Law. Dan Christensen and his team of attorneys have a remarkable track record. I've known Dan a long time. He's a military vet. He's board certified in civil trial law, and I've been a client. So you can trust them. You will get the result you deserve. Check out teamjustice.com, and you'll see thousands of 5-star reviews. The bottom line is, if you're in an accident, you need DJC Law. Contact them right away. 512-888-9999.